Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Young African and Proud. I'm your host, Chantal Muchaya, and today we are honored to celebrate the spirit of Human Rights Day, which we observed on March 21st. On this episode today, we reflect on the progress made towards equality and justice. We are reminded as well that gender equality remains a critical aspect of human rights. Gender-based violence, discrimination, and inequality continue to violate human rights of individuals, particularly women, and marginalized communities. To shed more light on these critical issues, today we are joined by the incredible Melisa Nemangwe, aka Mama Gender, who's an activist and advocate for gender equality. Madam, welcome to our show.
So I'm honored to be here. I wasn't expecting someone to reach out to me and say, "Oh, we saw what you're doing. Would want to have you on our show like that." I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely humbled. I'm humbled."
Those that are wondering, why am I calling this young, beautiful, gorgeous lady Mama Gender? What's going on there? Who's Melissa?
Okay, so Melisa Nemangwe is a young woman, as you can see, armed with a BSc psychology degree, started in Zimbabwe Midland State University. I can say that's where the SRH era work started, feeding into the need to make waves around gender issues. So Melissa was trained as a peer educator by Say What, a regional organization that is headquartered here in Zimbabwe. And through Say What, many opportunities came along the way. And she managed to make sure that she was available when opportunities came knocking. And she made sure that she was strategic on how she stays relevant within the spaces. Above all, she always makes sure that she is knowledgeable. So Melissa always has this thing that she tells young people that in everything you do, remember the ASK, availability, strategy, and be knowledgeable. So through that, Melissa volunteered with a number of organizations because she wanted to know the background of people. If we're talking about sexual reproductive health and rights and gender issues, should we have a one size fits all advocacy plan, or we need to know our people better? So she volunteered with grassroots organizations like the Voice of Celebration, which is based in Kadoma, and she's part of the Champion Youth Zimbabwe Pioneers, and she also worked with YMCMA when she was in the university, where they pioneered the club on campus. And while she was still in the university, she worked closely with the student affairs. Why? Because she would read concept notes, guide students on how they can do issues, and she found herself working hand in glove with the Gender Institute at the institution there. At times, we don't even see the steps that we're taking. That no, these are no longer baby steps. We just say that nah, we're still trying to get there, but you're already there. Now, how do you remain there and how do you work on getting far is the question. So Melissa did a student attachment, we can call it work-related learning with Shomari Manaskana, an organization based in Zimbabwe which focuses with the girl child. And from there, Melissa did a graduate trainee would say what, when you are a beneficiary of an organization, become part of the secretariat of the organization, you get to see things now beyond being a beneficiary. Get to see things, okay, this is how we get things done. So when we're complaining that the organization is not doing anything, it was doing much. So I can say Melissa has come this far by learning, whether she's observing or she's being taught how to do it, she has gone this far by learning. So Melissa started doing much of her community engagements through High Life Foundation because I had a scholarship from Higher Life Foundation. I always love to thank the Masiwas for the opportunity. So being a cell leader and being a governor at MSU, I engaged my peers and the young ones that we need to do community engagements that leave an impact. We need a footprint to say that, okay, the high flyers were here, the global leaders were here, they did A, B, C, and D, and they left. So through my tenure as the governor, I didn't even know that I was now much invested into gender issues. I would make sure that I check on the fellow students who are under the scholarship, know their needs. Okay, the girls, they need A, B, C, and D. How do we engage the officials here? Okay, we're at MSU, we are facing these issues. How do we engage it? Mind you, I was a student leader within a student politics union. I was a secretary general. People always said that I was a coconut-headed person because I would always make sure that the females get those leadership positions, be it in the SRSC or in the student union. I would always say, no, nothing for us women. And if we are saying that something is for us without us, then it's against us. We need women in the front seats. We need to drive it, you know. So I feel like the backlash that I faced from my fellow comrades, if I may say, molded me into this resilient person. Because as a young person, people, they start saying, okay, she's able to reach to this office because she's sleeping with this political tycoon. Yet you're still a student back then. You are not even into that, but you just want women to be recognized as they are. So I believe that this is what brought the nomination from the Women Changing the World Awards. I don't even know who nominated me, but I got that nomination and I was hesitant to accept it. I was like, what have I even done that somebody would nominate me? But I just accepted the nomination. Then during the long run, I noticed, oh, I'm part of the finalists, only black under the People's Choice Gender Equality Award, only black woman, the only African, and the youngest. To me, that was already a win. I was like, okay, I've already done it, I've already achieved it. And voila, I won the award. So I trust back and noticed that it is not what I did under an organization that brought me this far, but is what I went outside to do. I learned something. How did I improve it to make sure that we attain the change that we want? So basically, I can say behind this 4 award winner award, okay, I've got 2 awards. I've got the Behavior Change Award. Yeah. Beyond these 2 awards, who is Melisa? Melisa is that person who is resilient. I can say this comradeship that is in me will never die, but it differs how I channel the energy. So Mama Gender is not just the award winner. Mama Gender is a person who sees where there is need when we're talking about gender issues. To hear, despite here being a girl child rights activist, to hear gender is not just female. We can never achieve gender parity if we forget that each and every human being has got his or her on gender issues that need to be addressed. So for us to attain equality on equitable basis, my gender made sure that there is a bridge, the gender bridge, to make sure that your advocacy work does not die with her or does not just go to waste, but it is seen within the works of both men and females. And I am glad to say I've got male mentees who are actually doing great works in this gender battle that females. So for me, Mama Gender is beyond what I can even say. When I'm asked to talk about Mama Gender, I always see myself 30 years from now because that's the Mama Gender that I want to attain. So I always say, Mama Gender, trust me, is a force to reckon with. It's Mama Gender is someone you have to be prepared for because trust me, a lot of waves are coming through Mama Gender. So basically, you cannot say who is You cannot talk about Melisa Nemangwe without mentioning that Melisa Nemangwe is Mama Gender. And mind you, my peers and the young ones call me Tete, Auntie Wabantu. Yeah.
No. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Well
Thank
done to
you.
you
Thank
on your achievement, on your awards. And when you were saying, when I received the award, I don't know what I did. I'm like, do you hear yourself? You've just shared with us all these amazing initiatives you've been doing. And many of them you're participating when you're volunteering. And sometimes, as a volunteer, you get a stipend, and sometimes you don't get a stipend. And that's something you were doing from the goodness of your heart. And you were fighting for the rights of others, and you were empowering and ensuring that, other people's rights are not violated against you, of empowering them, and you're also linking them to resources. And that is amazing work you're doing. For people to refer to you as Mama Gender or Tete, this means that they're seeing the amazing work you're doing. And I cannot wait to see, more awards that you're going to achieve. I cannot wait to see the impact you're going to continue to make in 30 years' time. And when you're saying yourself, Mama Gender is what you see yourself as, or you envision yourself as in 30 years' time, I'm like, wow. By then, you're not going to be Mama Gender. You're going to be the queen of gender, because right now you are killing it. You are nailing it. So well done. Well done. We are
Thank you.
truly
Thank you.
inspired.
Thank you, Chantel.
So
Thank you.
you mentioned the gender breach. Can you please tell us a little bit more about that? What's happening there?
Okay, so the Gender Bridge, currently it's a youth serving association registered with the Zimbabwe Youth Council, and it operates in Midlands, touching Kwekwe, Redcliffe side. Why Midlands? Is because Midlands is the heart of Zimbabwe. And as we know, Midlands is where most of the resources are being mined there. And growing up, I stayed in Toad. It's we can call it a mining community whereby artisanal miners, they stay there. I witnessed a lot of social ills happening there, gender issues, etc., issues. And I always say that some of these organizations, they're coming here saying that they're working with us, but they're not working with us. When they go there with their reports, they always say A, B, C, and D is happening in mining communities. But it's not what is really happening. They just assume, they just guess what is happening. So now the gender breach, when I started the idea of the gender breach, I sat down with some of my colleagues and I told them, guys, we both learned in Midlands province. We both saw what happens. We both experienced the Mashurubi days. What if we put this idea in motion? And one of my friends, I can say, one of my fellow comrades, Alex, was like, why is it that this is not on paper yet? Write it down. We need to push this. And then for me, that was my aha moment. I was like, okay, so I'm actually making sense. So we started the gender bridge with the vision to create a world where gender equality thrives and the voices of young people resound as powerful bridges across the gender issues in their communities. Because I don't want to be the person speaking on their behalf. I want to make sure that the gender bridge cultivates, I would say, if I say a group, I'll be limiting the number that I want the gender bridge to cultivate. I want the gender bridge to have a community of young people who speak for themselves. Because for me, I don't believe in being the voice of the voiceless. I believe in amplifying everybody's voice. And as I amplify their voices, I have to make sure that they are on that stage, holding that mic and saying things as they are. So I work with adolescents and young people. Um, Under the gender bridge, we've got what we call the Aya Council, whereby these young people, they sit down as a council and they say, the gender bridge is supposed to do A, B, C, and D, and it's not doing it. We need to go like this because the trends have changed. We're facing A, B, C, and D in these mining towns. So for me, I want the gender bridge to be something that I am not remembered for, but to be something that when people look at young people from mining communities, they don't just see artisanal miners. They don't just see young people who are into commercial sex working to get the dollar fast. They see young people who understand the hustle, who understand street life, young people who understand how it means to be from a back a background which is not desirable, but you work to make sure that your community thrives. I believe that if we have a group of young people who do so, we'll go far. So the Gender Bridge has managed to work with Young Miners Foundation, an organization of miners. People, when they hear miners, they think of artisanal miners. Under Young Miners Foundation, we have got formalized young miners, young people who own land, who own mines, who put claims, young people who are extracting and processing. So we make sure that if we educate these young people on the need to make sure that whatever they do, they check on the gender issues that are happening within the mining communities. They check on SRA, HRA issues that are happening within the mining communities. They can easily help, because if I've got a mine claim and I've got 20 workers and gender inequality is the norm of the day, we've got risky behaviors everywhere, then I won't be doing anything. It cuts productivity. So we managed to work with Young Miners Foundation, and mind you, they always say, when are we doing a mind-to-mind tour, educating these people on gender issues and SRH era, because we feel like we have weaponized women because of sexuality, and we couldn't see what they can give us. Young women are doing wonders in the mining sector, but when people see a young woman thrive in the mining sector, they think that she has got a political tycoon or mining tycoon she's dating. But no, she owns the claim, she's doing wonders. So targeting these formalized young miners means that we now have people that can hold our hands as we go to the artisanal miners, because they were once artisanal miners themselves. And if we touch the hearts of the artisanal miners and change how they behave, it goes back to the society where they are coming after coming from the mine. So the gender bridge is not only touching the community, to some extent, it's also touching the industry, the mining industry as well. So I can say the gender bridge is the bridge that we have been waiting for. If you want to make sure that we mitigate the gender issues that we are facing. And also, remember, I always say people talk about rural areas and farming communities when they talk about gender issues. Then I'll be like, people, where are mining communities? What are you missing there? NAC announced last year that over 160 people in Midlands province alone are living positive. And the key factor that contributed to that statistic were artisanal miners. So if we're having these statistics in the mining areas, and when we program our advocacy work, we focus on rural and farming, forgetting mining, but in our report we say mining, but we're not on the ground. We're doing nothing. We're only robbing ourselves. So for us, we don't want to just talk. We want to walk the talk and make sure that in the next 20 years, I need to be shocked that, oh, the gender bridge did this, because I won't be part of the secretariat. I want to make sure that I leave the organization in capable hands. Why? Because as human beings, there's this thing that we call founder syndrome, whereby you get an entitlement saying that this is my thing. So I want to make sure that I leave it in capable hands, so that that founding syndrome will not catch up with me and will not distort the progress and the work that we have done. So basically, that is the gender bridge.
I am completely blown away. And for me, I think the gender bridge is a beacon of hope that we've been waiting for. And I love how you're working in different communities and different industries. And it is quite sad that many a times when members of society view or look at a woman, that's progressing in life or progressing in their career, they tend to think that, you know what, she's sleeping with this person and she's sleeping with that person. And I'm so sorry that you experienced that as well. And people forget that you are putting in the hard work. You're sacrificing the last money that you have to print brochures, to participate in this event and that event. There are so many sacrifices that you're putting in, and you're also educated. You have a qualification in psychology, know-how. So there's so much that is happening behind the scenes that people don't know and people don't see. But at the same time, people are quick to judge. And whilst we're on this issue, if there's a young lady who's experiencing similar challenges where, she's been told that, well, you're only progressing because you're sleeping with your professor or you're sleeping with this person, that person, what do you have to say to them? Because I think many times people just end up quitting, because they feel like, oh, well, what's the use?
Okay, so what I did, I'll talk of my own experience. I was given this huge political figure. People say that she's sleeping with so and so. I managed to grasp the courage to get in contact with that person, told them that, okay, this is the issue on the ground. I don't have anything to lose, but you have much to lose. Imagine if this rumor spreads. You don't even know me to that extent, not to talk of being intimate with me. So I think we should have a meeting with you, your fellow political members, and I with my comrades and address the elephant in the room. Because if you just keep quiet like this, the next rumor will destroy your career and it will also destroy mine. And Shona, I called it, tanga. Like my career will even end before I even start anything. So because I had the courage to approach such a political tycoon and tell him what was happening on the ground, we went for that meeting. Him there, other female and male politicians, my fellow student union members, we sat down. And I was like, as the SG and as the person who called for this meeting, I'll move the agenda. You speak through the chair, you speak through me, because I didn't want the meeting to lose its meaning to go west. Well, at least I wanted it to go east. So we addressed these issues. And I would say that political tycoon was like, it's okay, since her being the SG as the issue on the ground, and because she moves A, B, C, and D, recall her, remove her from that position. And they were like, we already wrote a letter to say that we no longer want her as our SG, we want her as a community member, blah, 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 blah. And I left that meeting being promoted. I started heading the information desk of the whole province politically, of these other political affiliations. It was a promotion. Then from there, I got to understand the real politics of the nation, different from student union. And I was in my fourth year, ready to go into the real world out there, God. So this is something, this is a stepping stone. That's another angle. I learned a lot of issues of what happens with women in politics. You know, I got the platform to represent Midlands Province at this political debates, talking about the status of youth and women and the 2023 harmonized elections, to speak on what was in need for us as young people and as women. If I didn't call for that meeting, I wouldn't represent a whole province. I would have given up, shied away and say, if I do this, they'll say I'm sleeping with A, B, C, and D. I went on various radio channels speaking on the need for women to register to vote and to vote for other women. You know, the women mantra in me started flowing from a different direction. To date, people, they always ask me, why didn't you contest in 2023? In 2028, are you contesting? What's happening? You are a politician. You can do this. You're one of the women that we want, A, B, C, and D. So to that woman that is facing similar challenges, be bold enough to approach the person they are saying that you are in a relationship with. Tell them the facts of what that rumor is going to do to both of your lives. Because if a rumor involves two people, it will not destroy one person, it will destroy the both of you. Arrange a meeting to set the record straight so that people will know next time that this is not done. If we want to soil somebody's name, your name is not to be joked with. And when opportunities come, whether somebody will say that is your blesser or what, if you know that you are not in the wrong and your cause is right, grab that opportunity, girl. Run it. Run it to the extent that even if when you leave, they'll say, that girl had a certain signature that she left. Yeah. So just make sure that you don't give in into what people say, because some people, they'll be jealous. People talk ill of you because they are afraid of what your potential can do. In this space, if they see that no, this person is going to go far, and we might end up following your footsteps, or we might end up asking you for favors and A, B, C, and D. They make sure that they destroy the future that they see by looking into your eyes. So when they start to do so, take whatever that is happening as building blocks, build an empire, and make sure that you'll be the Cleopatra of your own story. Own up to it. Be the empress of your own story. Build an empire. Yeah.
But what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it for good. And in your case, they were hoping that they're going to destroy you and tarnish your image with all the things that were said. And then instead, God actually used a platform to promote you so that you can continue doing what you were called to do. I understand that, yes, you do have the qualification, you are passionate, but I also think that many times people are called into different sectors. Because look at the impact you've already been making since you've started up to now. That is really impressive. And my prayer for you is that may God continue to lead you and fight your battles for you. So besides the challenges you've shared with us regarding, the rumors and people trying to tarnish your image, what other challenges have you been facing?
Okay. So I'll speak from the gender breach, speaking as the founder and the team leader for the gender breach. It's hard for you to start something. You'll be working with different organizations. At times you're an advisor, you're ABC and D. But when you start your own thing now, the people will be like, oh, she stole our idea and ran with it and started ABC and D. You know, you get invitations to some platforms, or you apply for certain things. You put references of people and organizations that you know that you you invested your sweat, your energy, your time, and everything into, and you feel like they'll just put a good word in for you, not because they know you, but because of the work that you did for them. But you'll be shocked that, oh, so we didn't get this because of this, so just because you're now growing, you're no longer a caterpillar, you're not a butterfly starting to fly, people now are afraid that you're flying away. But no, we are not flying away. We are just now sharing the beauty of what the space is doing to us. So that has been one of the challenges. And the second challenge now is the areas that we are implementing in. There is no area that is bound by political shackles as the mining areas. Why? This is where the money is. So you have to fight a lot of political shackles, because if you're coming in from the space angle, people will be like, oh, the team opposition, the issues on Zimbabwe, they're moving the opposition agenda. There's backlash. Even to get your paperwork done, there's backlash. And to some, because of my history, around politics, pushing political agendas, speaking on the need for women and young people to be involved in decision making politically, people are like, no, this one is a political agenda. We cannot associate with this A, B, C, and D. So you have to put an extra effort. You're always in your 25th hour, you're always in your 25th hour to make sure that people change their perspectives. And also, I always tell
Mm.
people that at times funding is not the issue, but setting your organization to be seen, to be known so that it gets the funding is a challenge. You are a baby, you're just starting to crawl. You've got some organization saying that's our idea, uh, it's hard. It's hard. You try by all means to put your head in the game, so that you attain what you want to attain. So there's been a number of challenges around that area, and also people be like, "Why did you leave this organization? Did you do something bad? Uh, were you dating the boss there?" It goes back to you as a person. It's no longer people trying to downplay the organization, but people now are questioning your character because you left. So
Hmm.
there are a number of challenges that we always face. And of course, with the Trump effect, we are hoping for miracles. We are hoping for the best. So I can say that the challenges will always be there. If, like I said prior, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. It's not a work of the path. You have to make sure that as your footprints are seen, drops of your sweat are also seen to know that no, we worked hard for this. And these challenges, I'm sure there'll be a reminder to me, maybe when we are now losing our focus on the gender breach, that why did you sweat in the first place? Why did you go through this in the first place if you are now doing A, B, C, and D? So the challenges will be there. And I'm sure that even after this call, we'll face new challenges along the way. So yeah, challenges always be there. Yeah.
Organization cannot serve the whole community of Zimbabwe. One organization cannot serve the whole province. So why can we not celebrate that? You know what? At least there are other organizations that's coming up. We've worked with Melisa. We know the impact that she's had previously. Why can't we root for her so that she can continue doing good and empowering other communities? And even just the ordinary member of community or of the society before you start judging someone else, because you don't know what that is going to have, the impact it's going to have on their well-being. If you're going to now start blaming me for things I didn't do, or accusing me, or spreading rumors, for all you know, I have children, I am married. What image are you trying to portray? How are my children going to think of me? What is my family going to say about that? So I really hope and pray that members of community have a different mindset, because also if you're to stop doing what you do, the person that's going to be affected the most, it's your beneficiaries, people that are benefiting from all these different initiatives. And this would have been caused by just a rumor, a simple rumor that could have been avoided. There's a saying that my grandmom used to enjoy saying, that if you don't have anything nice or good to say, don't say it. Rather keep it to yourself. If you don't have anything nice or supportive to say, rather keep it. If that's what you think, good for you. But now don't try and ruin something good that's happening. That's already benefiting so many people in community. And if there's someone watching and thinking, you know what, I love this initiative, I love what Melissa is doing, and I want to support her in the gender breach, how can they support you? What do you need? What resources do you need support with? What can they do?
Okay, so one of the things that I feel the gender breach needs is different expertise. I feel like before we go even far within the province, we need to make sure that in every angle of our implementation area, starting from our higher council, going to our members and different communities, we need motivation and inspiration. So for starters, we need just people to come and talk to our people. For start, just you come, you talk to our people so that they hear a different voice, they see a different face. Because if it's always Melissa and crew, they'll be like, they've started. So just having people from different expertise coming in to share insights for those young people, it will help. And also there is an issue that we have observed. the issue of child marriages in mining communities is not always about an adult and a minor, but we have noticed that the Romeo and Juliet love stories leading into child marriages whereby they're both minors, are both willing to stay together. So there's a lot of concern around those areas whereby we're having adolescents dropping out of school because he's opting to go and be an artisanal miner so that he takes care of his wife, and the girl drops out because she's not pregnant. Of course, we now have a law that says that despite being pregnant, the girl should be in school, but our communities are not ready for that. The communities are not ready. So we face even issues whereby these young couples, they move into isolated areas, the isolated mines, whereby healthcare facilities are far, and we are seeing a number of obstetric fistula happening with these young people. So the aid that we need much now is on SRHR, because we cannot talk of gender issues without talking about sexual reproductive health and rights. And when we talk about sexual reproductive health and rights, we are missing obstetric fistula because it's not something that is talked about oftenly. In Zimbabwe, I've noticed that it's only Amnesty Amnesty Zimbabwe is pushing awareness around this area. So if we have people who would like to help our agenda, they should actually help us educate our communities on obstetric fistula, so that by educating our communities, we promote the health of these young women. And also we have communities that are well informed. And also we need people just to come and share with these young boys that dropping school and being an artisanal miner is not always the answer. There are many things that you can do. Some of them are now even young adults, but they're still artisanal miners. We need young people who are doing great in the mining sector to come and educate our communities on the importance of forming those mining syndicates, formalizing so that they do things the professional way. And so that we change the narrative, we change that ray of paint that has been labeled on us, people from mining towns. Because if they see us, they see Amakorokoza, Anagbeja, and so we don't really need man. Of course, some things they require financial injection, but we need the will. We need people. We just have the drive to say, no, Melisa, I feel like we can do A, B, C, and D. Melisa, how can we push this? We have a number of things that we had planned for this year, but we couldn't do it on this quarter because financial injection, backlash, etc., etc. We had planned our war men in orange agenda for the month of women, having men in orange overalls, supporting women in those mining residential areas. And I would like to call organizations like Men for Equality as being supportive to just rope us in, rope these young people in. It's not always Melisa that we have to see in that workshop. Please accept new faces, accept young people, because we need the advocacy work to grow. So we need young people to come there and get exposure, because if it's always Melisa, then we're not going anywhere. So we need a whole lot. There's a whole lot of things that we need to do. I'm just grateful that at least in the young adolescents health in Daba, that was held in Zambia last year, we had our Aya cancer chairperson in Zambia representing adolescents and young people from mining residential areas, saying our issues as they are, and he was accepted. Our own plates were accepted, and the narratives are changing. So our say organizations, entities, be it corporates, please give us a chance to show you what these young people from mining residential areas can do. Trust me, you don't even understand mining the way they do. They can easily tell you that this belt has got money. Give us a chance. Help us help you. Yeah, that's all I will say.
Amazing. And I'm loving how you're saying, yes, we do need financial assistance, but there's more. You are open to collaboration. There's things that members of the community themselves can do to support you. Just a member of the community, by you attending to these events, men, by being thoughtful and mindful when you're in a relationship with someone else. Let's condomize, let's practice safe sex. Let them use contraceptives as well. Yes, we want to be intimate, but let's do it in a safe way, because now what's happening is you end up having to move to a different district where there's limited access to resources, which puts the young lady and the child that she's carrying at risk because she doesn't have easy access to healthcare services. So there's so much that different members of the community from different sectors can do as well. And congratulations that your organization is growing. I'm loving that, Zambia welcomed you, and I'm really praying that the gender bridge will be accepted all over Africa and even the entire world as a whole, because the work you're doing is amazing. And if there's someone listening to you right now, I know Elia, you shared, nuggets of wisdom. But if there's anyone listening to you, any young person listening to you right now and thinking, wow, I'm loving the work that Melisa is doing, and they would want to find themselves in community development. Maybe they might not want to go into gender, as to say, or mining, but they also want to start making a difference in their community. What can they do? What advice do you have for them?
I always say that find your niche. When we're having conversations, there's this one particular topic that triggers you to say something, that triggers you to change something. Find your niche. Because we might be multi-talented, multi-skills, and we might have interest in different areas, but there's always a niche. For example, I'm a sexual reproductive health and rights champion, well trained, but my niche is in gender. So when you find your niche, you now find a way to make sure that other areas of interest they align with your niche. It doesn't mean that if you're not doing gender, you cannot do climate change. You can, because there's a nexus between climate change and gender issues. It doesn't mean that if you're doing public health, you cannot do construction. You can, because why? We need facilities that are disability friendly. That's where you come in. So you find your niche, and after finding and knowing your niche, know areas of interest that are intertwine with your niche, and above all, find a mentor. Find a mentor. You need someone who has walked the path before, or someone who is doing better than you. When you find a mentor, be a good mentee, because mentorship and mentee relationship is hard. These are two busy people who have got their own lives, but they need to balance somewhere. So when you find a mentor, be a good mentee. Be ready to learn, unlearn, relearn, and grow. Because the fruits of that mentorship journey do not just speak to you, but to your mentor as well. Then, when you have grown, when you have become the mama something of your area of expertise, remember one thing. Remember to go back to the grassroots. Remember to check the progress that we have done so far, the setbacks, areas that need to be polished, because there are always loopholes along the way. And when you feel like I've outgrown myself, I'm now big, I'm now this, I'm now A, B, C, and D, make sure that you are humble. Do not allow pride to consume you, because when you do so, that will be the end. Your castle will come down crumbling. And remember, the journey is not only yours to embark on. You need a team. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. Be open to partners, collaborate with others. Because if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, we go together. In Shona, we say, Charachimwe, Achitswanyi Inda. Let's collaborate. Big people out there are collaborating. So don't let us who are at the grassroots fight you with this normal competition. Collaboration is the new competition of the world. So collaborate.
That I love that. I love that. I love that. And for someone who is struggling with founder syndrome, what can you say to them?
Well, if you're struggling with founder syndrome, go back to that moment when you started having the idea. What did you want to achieve? When you do so, you easily see that you have lost the cause of the organization. And you are the one, you are the virus which is in the organization. And when you do so, at times it will be too late for someone to revert and start again. Leave the organization in capable hands. And please, please stop this micromanaging thing. You know, the thing of executive directors and micromanaging. Yo, stop micromanaging. Trust your team. Leave the organization in capable hands. Just remain a founder. If you are going to be a committee member in the board, it's okay. Or you're just going to remain a founder, it's okay. I have got a young person who is involved in the genesis of Manaskana Wanasi here in Zimbabwe. When he noticed that the organization was now stable, he left the organization in capable hands. The organization is growing. We don't even see that there's been a change of leadership. He's now doing something else. That is what we need to do as Africans. We need to leave our organizations, our businesses in capable hands when we feel like now we are now taking the organization to its downfall. Normally, we are the downfall of the great things that we would have built. Yeah.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. And I am learning. I'm learning. And one last question, I promise. You mentioned that members of your community were asking if you were campaigning. So I am asking, my lady, are you campaigning for 2028?
No, no, I am not campaigning for 2028. I won't be campaigning. But watch the space because you see that cabinet one day, one day you shall be seeing this person in that cabinet, or maybe one day you see Mama Gender being Mama Zimbabwe. You never know. But my political journey or political aspirations, they are not going to manifest now because I feel like there are a lot of things that I need to first fix within this community. If I manage to just change the mindset and the behaviors of people, being a social entrepreneur, being someone who loves community psychology, if I manage to achieve that, trust me, if I become a politician, it will be easy now for me to change the system because changing behaviors and communities requires also the systems to change. So if I go there and try to change systems without changing the grassroots, I would have done nothing. So it's a long run that I have to run with this within this social side. I feel like if I achieve at least three-quarters of what I want to achieve in this social side, I will in the political journey. People say that politicians are just the same, they wear different blazers. I want to be a different person if I'm to enter the political realm because I want to know that the next stage is A, B, C, and D. I don't want to think of what I need to do, at least I'm in there. No, I need to know why I'm getting into politics in the first place. You don't get into politics and think of what to do. You think of what you need to do and how being a politician will help you attain something. So I want my goals to push me into something. I don't want to get into something and to start looking for goals. So that is me.
God, we are rooting for you here when you said that, Mama Zimbabwe. Yes, please. We're definitely looking forward to that. Even if it's Minister of Health or Minister of something, we're definitely rooting that when the time comes, that God's favor is upon you. Because
Man,
your record alone says a lot. And we need leaders that are intentional with their actions. Leaders that are really passionate about change and community development. And I mean, with your studies, your experience, the work that you're doing already, I'm sure that the future is very, very bright. So may the Almighty Lord continue to lead you, to guide you, to protect you, to favor you, and link you with the right people, the right resources that you need to continue doing the amazing work you're doing.
amen, amen, and amen.
And thank you so much for joining us. We know that you're a busy lady, but thank you so much for joining us and empowering us. We are truly honored by your presence today.
Thank you for having me. I actually enjoyed this. Yeah. I feel like I'm having one of those conversations with my mentees. We normally have these conversations. They'll be like, "Okay, Tetis, so in the next 10 years, what are we doing?" So I feel like it's just one of those conversations. And to think that this conversation will reach a greater audience. Um, I'm more than happy. I'm actually overwhelmed here. And I've actually had forgotten that I had issues to deal with for the first 1 hour that we have been talking, if I may say. So I'm great. Continue doing this, Chantel. At times we forget why we are doing things. So having these conversations remind us of why we started in the first place. And it keeps us in check. Say, oh, so I always sing A, B, C, and D, but I've lost it. I need to revert. So continue having these conversations with young Africans who are doing great work out there because we need these reminders to ourselves. It might be not you asking us directly, but trust me, it's an indirect call to reflect on ourselves as young leaders, young founders, to say, what are you doing? Is it really what you're doing? Because when you have this conversation, you'll be like, no, I need to do A, B, C, and D. I almost said, Chantel, can we have questions before the interview? Then I was like, no, I need to be you in that interview. I don't need the questions. I need to answer the questions as they come because it helps me reflect on my uh, on at personal level and at professional level. Having a script doesn't normally say or talk much about who Mama Gender is, but having these conversations, it helps Mama Gender become better or to improve actually. So thank you for this platform to tell you're doing an amazing job. And I noticed that you once hosted one of the kids that I once had conversations with. She's by UZ, or who I'm not following. She's an SRC president for the night. And I was like, wow, you're going miles, kiddo. She always say leadership, A, B, C, and D. Then I was like, grab the opportunities. Thank you so much. You don't know how much confidence you have installed in her just to know that she's getting recognition. So thank you. Continue to do this amazing work.